this week's episode of the Jesse T Show, my good friend, Dr. Ofek. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Glad to be here. It's good to see you.
Same here.
Yeah. So this show's all about you, and we're going to delve into your story and everything. So if you want to kick it off, tell us who you are and your background. And
Wonderful. Yes, my name is Dr. Amit Ofek. I am a family chiropractor here in Smyrna, Georgia. What to tell about myself? I'm not originally from the United States. I'm from a small, tiny country in the Mediterranean called Israel. Probably heard about it here and there, maybe. And I mean, maybe we can get to how I, from all the way there, got to here to do chiropractic. We can talk about that.
Yeah, talk about your story. I know you have an interesting story. So.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with Israel, there's Israel it's a pretty intense place. There's a lot of wars, conflicts going on, and it's mandatory to serve in the military. So we men do 3 years, women do 2 years when we're 18, and then following these mandatory 3 years, we do reserve duty, which is basically you do it till you're 42 or so. So you're pretty much a soldier, a couple of, let's say, months out of the year.
Wow.
Till you're 42 or 45. So when I joined, I decided to volunteer and try for the Special Forces. Man, it was intense 3 years. If I had to do it again, I will. I met best friends I will ever have in the rest of my life.
Yep.
And I have a lot of stories about the service there, but after that I decided, enough with the military. And during the time in the military, in the service, I met a beautiful girl. Today she's my wife.
Awesome.
That was almost 18 years ago. And we have a beautiful, almost 3 years old son. And that's how life is today.
So Special Forces, badass, right? Or what were some of the things you were doing? What was your job or MOS like?
So it was a lot of training and gathering intel, a lot of anti-terrorism, any kind of response we need to give. We were trained in that. Any kind of pretty much anything they needed us to do, if it was to prevent a certain, if we got intelligence something's going to happen, to prevent that in any means necessary. A lot of walking with heavy weights, sitting in God knows where, in whatever country for a prolonged period of time, waiting. A lot of that.
Sure.
Training was very, very intense for almost 18 months. Before you got your pin.
Before you earned it.
Yeah, before you earned your pin, and then it was intense but worth it. I learned tremendously about myself as an individual. Even though you're 18 or 19 at the time, literally a kid, you learn a lot, and I carried those lessons even till today. They helped me tremendously in definitely being an entrepreneur. As you know, it takes a lot.
It does.
A lot of yourself.
Yeah. It takes everything.
Yeah,
it does. And
everything.
So for those of you at home, Dr. Ofek, he once explained to me that it was similar or equivalent to the United States Rangers, so to speak. Similar concept.
Yes.
So tell me about a time when you were doing that where you were kind of up against it. You didn't know if maybe you were going to live or not. And how did you come out, and how did you survive, and how does that help you in today's world?
Yes, I must say that the one thing that carries through all these extremely intense and hard times is your bodies.
Yeah.
You learn to trust your team, your bodies, and probably 10 or 12 other individuals that are with you in that team. We're a very small team. You learn to trust them with not only your life, but we learn to anticipate each other's needs. We know each other so well, so they kind of know where your maybe weak areas are, where your strength is.
Yep.
So, oh my God, it's like a very, very tight family.
So strength, I want to know, as an operator, when you were doing that, what was your strength? What were you known for?
I was known for I know it's going to sound like, but for physically, endurance-wise, to push myself and to be able to, if somebody had to be carried or somebody had struggled with the amount of weight they were given, I could definitely help there. And you know, and weaknesses, you know, it really depends. But man, you just learn to trust your friends. And,
so
you know,
so it's almost a relationship and a marriage in a way. Obviously, it's other, you know, guys and stuff, but it's you're so close, and it's like any relationship. You try to add value where you know you can, and if you need a little help, you're self-aware and you ask for a little bit of help. And so,
marriage is a whole other show we can do about. But yes, you learn when to give, when to, you know, take.
It's a beautiful partnership. Yeah. Now, moving into the States, and so you came to the United States, and so what was that like for you leaving home, leaving the military, moving to the U.S.?
Leaving the military wasn't that hard. It was like, okay, I'm going to, I'm going to see my girlfriend back then, and to hang out with her in Michigan, U of M, which was like, okay, you know, that's an easy decision. We did that for a while, and there was a lot of back and forth. I had, I went back to work a little bit in, in security in the French Riviera, which is awesome.
That sounds really amazing.
Yes. Then I traveled a little bit in South America. There was a lot of back and forth. We lived there a little bit. We lived here a little bit. And when we really decided, like, okay, United States is the place. I did my undergrad in Michigan and Wayne State, and then we went down here to Marietta to do the chiropractic, Doctor of Chiropractic degree.
Was that Life University?
That was Life University, yes. And then, Smyrna. We fell in love with Smyrna, where we are right now, and bought a house. Had a beautiful son, which is
3 years old almost.
Yes, and now it's just full on life. You know how life is. I do.
So how has that transition from the military to moving to the U.S. and now you're an entrepreneur, you're a doctor of chiropractic.
Yeah, wow.
What is that like for you?
The transition from thinking like, okay, I was like, I grew up athletic, right? I did all kind of athletic things, from triathlon to water polo to mountain biking, and then the military, and from that to transition into, so I was always into health.
Yep.
And then transitioning into taking care of people, and now I focus a lot in my day-to-day on kids.
Sure.
She's like a big transition, special forces to taking care of, a few weeks old babies to kids with special needs to a big transition, but totally naturally for me was always taking care of others. So in the military it was service to others.
Sure.
Now it was service to others through chiropractic. So fairly, if you think about easy transition, it just made sense. One step off to the other.
You brought a part of yourself, and everything that you did was a common thread. Service to others, helping people, health, fitness. Yeah. So in your practice today, what are some of the things that I know you work from babies all the way up to anybody of any age. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you're focusing on in the practice right now, and some of your clientele? What does that look like?
Yeah. So right now, really, I'm constantly learning new things. As you know, as an entrepreneur, you constantly have to learn more so you can add more value to your clients, for me, to my patients. And it used to be, low back pain, neck pain, headaches. But as I grew and saw more what's going on in the community, it was very obvious that there's a lot of need for taking care of the whole family, right? Because if I saw a family and I saw that the kid is struggling with some health issues and I didn't have the tools, so that was naturally the next evolution of my practice, to learn more. So I went back to, if you will, school, doing almost a year and a half of seminars just to get a certification for pediatrics and pregnancy.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that really grew my practice tremendously, because there's a big need for it and not a lot of knowing from the population. So there's a lot of education going on and outreach.
Always learning, always growing, always pushing that comfort zone, right? And so my wife and I, we believe in chiropractic, and we've had chiropractic. You mentioned pregnancy. I mean, there's times where you have to have that special knowledge, that education. So good on your part that you're getting that additional training, and you've never stopped. As an athlete, as a soldier, as an independent business owner, you have to keep moving forward, or you'll get passed up, and you want to make sure that you're always evolving. So what about something that you are you've battled with on the business side recently, and something how you overcome it or how you're working on it?
Yeah, wow. So, so most of us, I want to say, chiropractors or anybody in the service to others, if it's health, we have really big hearts. That does not mean that we have a very business savvy kind of salesperson, personality. So that is something that I have to work on constantly, and something that I recently shared with you, that I went to the seminar to really learn how to the sales part of it, which is really important. So if I can't sell my patient that's standing right in front of me on chiropractic, they will buy health from somebody else.
For sure.
Not to say that it's wrong or right, but knowing that chiropractic is just incredible healthcare, option out there, it's very important that I can close the sale. I can do the sale. So that's something that I'm working on very hard right now, and that's an obstacle. I mean, that was an obstacle for many years that I didn't know that was the obstacle until recently. Somebody told me, you really need to know how to sell. I mean, we sell ourselves every day. We sell ourselves as a great husband. We sell ourselves as a great, as a great father. So that was just again, a natural evolution of.
Was that a colleague or a mentor, someone who said
That was a colleague and a friend that pointed out, look, what you're doing up till now is just, you're stagnant. You're not moving forward. You're doing okay, but you can do so much better. And she was absolutely right.
So being able to be that student and have that heart for people, but have the knack for business and putting those two together, what were some of the things that she guided you towards, that you sought out to help you implement those sales strategies or techniques? Like, what have you learned that maybe you can share with the audience?
What have I learned? There's a lot of psychology in the sale, as you know. Every word we say, your body language, the sequence of the sales cycle, is every little detail is important, and if you're not constantly working on that, you're missing out and you're not going to close. It's enough that you're saying one thing out of that cycle, out of the sequence, and it throws off my patient, your client, and it's just not, the sale is going to fall. It's not going to fall through. So constantly working on that, constantly training to do that. And it was clear as day when I went to that specific seminar. Okay, I have a lot to work on.
Went on,
Yes, so helps a lot.
And then in terms of your practice, Ofek Chiropractic, where do you see the business moving towards, and where do you see the goal and the vision of your business? What's the end game, if there is one?
Vision-wise, I definitely see, because right now, in terms of chiropractic, we're reaching maybe 8-10% of the market out there, which is a very small
8 to 10%.
Small, tiny portion of the market. Vision-wise, is to really reach every person out there. So when a couple is getting ready to have a baby, they're gonna, one of their considerations, we need to find a chiropractor that can, help us through pregnancy, make that easier, and somebody that can see our baby from when they're tiny little infants through their developmental milestones to teenage years to even later on, right?
Sure.
That's the vision. And that vision alone, if you can think about it, the growth is going to be exponential, because if you see just a few people, the whole family is there. So that's the vision. So everybody's going to have in mind, chiropractic is part of our health routine,
So in that educational process where you're educating clients and teaching them and coaching them, where do you find the biggest scare or people are afraid of the most, and how do you educate them on getting past that?
I think, what they say about fear, it's just that lack of knowledge, and that's that gap, like, oh my God, I don't know how it's going to look like. I think that's where most people, that's the hang up. I'm not sure about it, definitely when it comes to kids, or definitely babies. They're not sure how it looks like, what's going on. So a big part of my education, even if it's an individual that is not planning on having kids anytime soon, I'm still going to talk to them about, I'm seeing babies sometime. It's just going to be part of my kind of table talk.
Sure.
And that, I feel like that, like ripples.
Yeah.
It's just, they're going to tell their nephews or, because everybody has somebody that needs that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think from just our experience, if you lead from an educational standpoint and a mentor, you coach and train your clients, but also you give them that peace of mind because it's the fear of the unknown. But once they see what's on the other side of that unknown, they realize it wasn't too big of a deal.
100%. If you come out of love and service, it's natural.
I agree. And so for your business, with what you're doing and what you're building, is this something where you'd like to see your little one take over one day, or is this something where you maybe just kind of go into other things? Like, what does that look like?
It is such a great question, and you know what? I'm gonna leave it to him to just explore, the world and so many options out there. You're probably kind of like me, and I'm so stubborn. It doesn't matter if my parents told me, like, don't do this. I would do it anyway.
That's right.
And you know what? And I'm thankful for that because I learned you get successful from failing.
That's right.
And you get successful from trying a million different things. And even now, I'm learning, new things every day. After I failed 10, 20 times, I'm like, I should do a little bit, just how I learned about that seminar. I failed a bunch of times, and then you succeed. So, I want to leave that to him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, let's jump on towards the rapid fire questions. So these are going to be kind of little things about you that no one maybe they may or may not know, but they're just fun, interesting things about Dr. Ofek. So, favorite restaurant or food, and this can be anywhere in the world.
Yeah. American-wise, Burger. Natural,
okay.
Awesome burgers, great fries. But really, when I need like some soul, I go to Jerusalem Bakery, get great hummus, great falafels. Fresh pita bread.
Is that local?
It just feels like home.
Yeah, taste of home, right? So where is that? Is that in Atlanta?
I think in Marietta.
Yeah, so not too far.
Not far.
Awesome. And what's the name of them again?
Jerusalem Bakery.
Go check out Jerusalem Bakery.
Yeah.
Change your life. Craziest thing that you ever did?
I would have to say jumping from a perfectly great airplane.
Jumping out of the airplane.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with the airplane and jumping from that. Later on, after the military, I traveled in South America and I did a bungee jump. And after even standing up there, I'm like, so I went through military, survived that, I'm fine, I'm all in one piece, and now I'm jumping from that. I gotta say that was a little silly in my 20s. It's like, well, let's do it.
A little bit of a thrill seeker? Yeah, a little bit.
Not today. Not these days. Yeah. These days, I'm playing softball on the weekends. That's just as much as I want to push my boundaries. Yeah.
So, jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, do you have X amount of jumps under your belt? Like if you had
we did just a few jumps just to get the certification.
Sure.
If we need to, we got that under our belt. Yeah.
And what was that process like? Were you terrified? Were you excited? Were you a little bit of both?
So you do a school for like a week or so training, and then there's always somebody that's going to stand in the door, right? The first one, and that was me. So you really get to see them like fly around, getting to the jump point. It was great. I gotta tell you, it was a.
Would you do it again?
Not that one.
No.
With an instructor and the whole
I gotcha.
thing. Yeah.
A time where you learned from a client or something in business that was an opportunity for you to grow from.
I got a really I would call it a bad review on Yelp, and it was a bad review, but a lot of education in it because the person literally said, "Look, this is what I was expecting, and this is what I got instead." So. I shared that with my colleagues, and I really learned a lot about how I do things and just how to change, how to make sure they understand the expectation. This is how it's going to look like today. This is what we're going to do, and put them at ease. And I think that's a big thing that I learned. Just having everybody at ease makes everything, the sales cycle, so much easier, and they know how to see it.
You've talked about that a lot, and just the educational point and helping people understand. I think that's a mantra that you exude. So keep it up. Yes. Hobby or passion project? What do you have going on?
Passion project, like raising an amazing son.
Sure.
That would be 24/7.
Sure. What is he into? Is he into any games?
The problem that he's into everything. No, it's just really oh my God, seeing him just learning from the world and learning all these little things every day. They absorb everything. So
they're sponges.
It's literally, you need to be at 100% on top of things, knowing how to expose in the right or the wrong way. But just being a great parent takes so much. Just reading and just being in the mindset focus and
seeing the world through their eyes.
Oh my God,
you can almost relearn a different way, a different vision, a different understanding that you may have never seen it that way.
Yeah,
so it's like you're like the kid again in a sense where you're growing and learning, and you grow together.
From the second you get home from in the afternoon, it's a 100 miles an hour.
The best thing that I think's ever happened to me is having a family, having boys, and if it was a daughter, that would be amazing. But just having kids has completely changed my mindset on everything.
Yes, so that's my.
If you could be remembered for one thing that you've done in your life, or a quote or a thought that you could leave as a legacy, whether it's to the world, to your son, your family, what would that be?
Wow. Can't say it's originally mine, but we all have a birthright to be healthy, happy, vital, and just thrive in this world. And that's something that I take with me all the time, because when I see a young infant or an individual, whoever it is, that are not really using that birthright and not living the life that they potentially could have, that is just almost like a mission for me to say, like, look, this is possible for you, because a lot of times we forget that's possible. Yep. We even forget that it's possible for a young child that maybe is struggling with some health issues, because we've been through so much. And so for me, that's something like we have that birthright to just be healthy, happy, and just live the life at full potential.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So this is the time of the episode where you get to talk about anything that you want to put out there. If you want to plug something, if you're working on something, share it with the world.
Yeah, so, like I said, Dr. Amit Ofek from Ofek Chiropractic, I am very passionate about helping people live their best life, their full human potential. And often we're not aware how much more we can experience life, maybe because we've been living with something that's been bothering us health-wise or otherwise. And just it's my passion to truly help you express that full potential. So if you're looking for doing just that, please make sure to call me, set up a consultation, get to know me a little bit, and what we have to offer.
That's awesome. And tell the folks in the audience where they can find you, the contact information, website, social media, where can they find
so the easiest is just call me at 770-435-8890, or you can find me on the web at ofekchiropractic.com or on Facebook. Usually you can message me and I'll message right back. So
that's awesome, and I can attest to his ability for client care, and he's handled with my wife's chiropractic, and she gives you nothing but glowing remarks. So you can find all his information at the end of the episode and in the show notes, his contact information. Dr. Ofek, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Great talking to you.
You too.
Thanks so much. Tune in to Jesse T Show next week for a new episode. Have a great day.